What's up, guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. We are plugging away at my 1992 yellow Detch here, trying to get it ready for Ponies in the Smokies 2025. Now, if you guys haven't seen the live stream with me and Castle Customs, be sure to check that out because we're talking about how we've committed to the show, and I want to get the yellow Detch there, and he wants to get his 92 green Dragon there. So, two coupes, Canadian coupes with body kits, and arguably, well, they disrupt the community here and there, but needless to say, we're committed to trying to get the cars there. So in the previous videos, you know, you've seen me go through interior, you've seen me do alarm work, rewiring, what else did we do? Some stereo stuff, some gauges, LED conversions. We've looked at taillight options and whether to keep the Celine wing or not the Celine wing, and I think I came up with the solution. I'll get into that in a minute, but I have been working at the little things underneath the hood here. In the last video, I talked about some of the Cerbinator hardware that I've been installing on the fenders, radiator support, and a couple other little spots, but I have actually gone down the rabbit hole of Amazon, guys. This is, I know, it's very disorganized. It's driving me crazy, but this is what happens when you're like immersed in doing 10 things at once. You can see a bunch of hardware here. We're going to talk about that and maybe some cheaper alternatives via Amazon. And well, you'll end up with a bunch of extra hardware, but might be able to help you out in terms of getting some of the little finer details done underneath your hood. Apart from that, I got some new stuff in from Fiddle Fart'n Fabrication. So we're going to be talking about that in the video. And some of those door strikers, door sill plates, and little customizations that bring your car to just like a notch above, if you will. And again, it's all in the details. And of course, alternator upgrade. Look at these old accessories that were on the car here. So pulled some of this stuff off, painting up some brackets, clearancing brackets, 3G alternators, so on and so forth. So stick around. We're going to talk about all these things in this video, and hopefully it's informative. Hopefully it'll help you guys out there, so stick around. All right, guys, so first things first, the wing and the taillights. Now, on the live, we talked about this, and I pretty much concluded that the wing I go with is going to dictate which taillight option I go with. And you can see I've got a TLS, tip TLS version 4 lip spoiler here versus the 2, which is painted yellow on the ground here. And I think this is what we need, because I was actually debating whether I put the Celine wing back on, and I think this is going to be the perfect balance in between. And I think that once that's body color, once we get the shade of the deck lid right, I'll be able to finally make up my mind and my decision on which taillight option I am going to choose. So that's that, and I guess for now we'll get into some of the footage with the Fiddle Fart'n fabrication stuff that I just installed earlier here today, so you guys can check that stuff out and see how it's made its little differences to the car. Then we'll jump back and talk about some of the other finer little details underneath the hood. Got some goodies in the mail today and packed extremely well. This is from Fiddle Fart'n. And guys, I know I've talked about some of his stuff here and there, spoken about it on the podcast, and the first real, I guess, experience that I had with his products is when I was putting Chuck's GT together. And mind you, when I was putting Chuck's GT together, a lot of his products were really new. And he was going through some prototype stages. In fact, he's always going through prototype stages. I know he's trying to do the trunk lid hydraulic strut assemblies for the rear, which I'm excited to see what he comes up with. But here, these really caught my eye. These are the door sill plates. And man, he really packs his stuff well. So let me try and carefully cut these out of here because I don't want to cause any damage. Now my hand is in a pinch. All right, look at these. Nice metal construction and leather wrapped, which is the most exciting part for me. And the reason why that is because so many little bits and odds and ends of this car are leather wrapped. So this is just gonna bring like that whole modern, sleek look to the interior of the car. And then these are the inserts, which I believe he has a carbon fiber option. Oops. Maybe a few, I don't know if there's custom colors or what, but I opted for the piano black finish here. Looks like so, with the magnet. And hide all the hardware that bolts these guys down. I'm thinking I'll do like a nice little yellow Dutch logo right here. And be a real nice little personal touch. So I'll be excited to get these guys in. Actually, I ordered a few other things, if I remember correctly. I think I got the radiator, not the radiator, the front bumper tie downs. All right, he actually told me he wanted me to test this guy out, and funny enough, the one in the car is actually really shitty looking. So I'm super excited to try this guy out. Even comes with the fancy hardware and stickers. Everyone loves stickers. Now, controversial maybe. I know I talked shit about these when I did Chuck's car because I could not get these in a position. So these are the door strikers, guys. Nice billet strikers, okay, with the black plates, which should make things look really nice in the door jamb. Now, when I was doing Chuck's car, he had, this was a two-piece design. There was a sleeve that went over, sort of like the factory bushing, and I couldn't get the movement with the bushing on to work with the doors. And he has since redesigned these guys, and like they look nice. Like this looks way better than what Ford has in the door jambs. We're gonna install these. One other concern that I had is that without having the bushing on there is, are you gonna fatigue the metal from the striker constantly hitting on, you know, inside the door jamb? Convertibles are notorious for weakening in there. You'll see some stress and fatigue, the weight of that convertible door just constantly hitting the striker. But the reality is, when you think about it, if you own a Fox this day and age, especially a nice one, you're not there slamming your door all the time. And in fact, this is an opportunity for you to make sure your door pins are working well and that all the hardware is in the right position, and allow you to close your door without putting much force on it. So I'm not concerned, it being my own car, about any possible fatiguing or, you know, slamming of the door. So we got those to put on. And guys, Thomas has not paid me for any of this. I will, in transparency, he did send me parts back in the day, like hinges and a couple other things to try, in all fairness, because he was looking and wanting to perfect some of his products. So, you know, rightfully so. But here I am, you know, purchasing. I paid for all this stuff. And I didn't pay for this. He sent me this to try this out. But everything else here I paid for. And that allows me to speak the truth and speak unbiasedly, what a word, without bias. about his products that he has. And guys, I'm loving the black anodized stuff. Like, I'm not a billet guy, like the color of billet. I don't like shiny stuff all over the place. But the black stuff looks phenomenal. So let's get installing some of this stuff. Like, why wait around, right? First things first, like, look at that. It's a million times better. Let's get our areas nice and clean here. Boom, shakalaka. It's even gonna hide a little bit of that peeling paint that's been driving me nuts. And we got all the hardware here. Doesn't that look a million times better? And you can see I've been actually starting to swap out a whole bunch of hardware here. And here are some of my efforts off of Amazon to find all these types of cone washers and everything else. And these are similar to what you would get from Fiddle Fart or the Surbinator, right? These are actually, I think, from the Surbinator. These ones I think are from Fiddle Fart. So I have been supporting and going through everybody's stuff, but at the same time, I've been looking for hardware that can suit me in other places, like even the little tiny stuff like these ground straps. So these are Surbinator, Amazon. I think that might be a Surbinator. Obviously we got Fiddle Fart here. I am going to, once I get this all figured out, because there's different shapes and sizes and types of hats or heads on the bolts and different types of cone washers in terms of button style, recess style, wider, thinner, everything else. Once I get this sorted out, I will share more links on this, because this is definitely, like, the reality is I could probably do 10 cars for the price of like one kit through somebody else, but not everybody wants to go through this aggravation. Some people want easy, simple, bag, tag, ready to go and install, right? So this is definitely not the case. This is the trial and error approach. But with that said, I'm gonna go ahead now and get this guy out. And funny enough, he used like a BMW style bolt in there. But you can see this was painted in black, but then some corrosion came along, made things a little bit more rusty looking. I'll also be pulling this guy out and redoing this, because this looks super nasty. And give us an opportunity. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to fix stuff like this. I could probably clean it up and touch it up a little bit, or maybe, you know, do this in black if I wanted to get really creative. But, you know, there's got to be a stopping point. All right, got this old hardware out of there. Number one, it's rusty. Number two, he ran the wrong thread pitch through there, so I don't need to strip these out. I've got another stock hood hiding in the other bay. I'm gonna go steal some hardware off it. New ones here. Boom. Boom. Got the wrong thread pitch on the hardware for that hood latch. I'm pretty sure I've got what I need. Or maybe I don't. All right, so that looks, it's a really nice looking piece. Got our pieces down here. Now, $1 million question. Can I get these to work the way I want them to? The old T50. Hopefully I don't regret this. was. Okay. Look at that. Works pretty good for a first try. No complaints. So if you guys remember, it was actually the driver's side door of Chuck's car that gave me the most headaches. I actually made his passenger door work. So let's see if we can be 2 for 2 here. Sure I don't lose the hardware in the back. It's the worst thing, but look at that. Still got the factory bushing on there. There's my... Let's see. Let's go 2 for 2. Need to adjust that one in just a hair. Boom. That's what I wanted. Beautiful. Love it. So there you have it, guys. We have done a little bit of a fiddle fart conversion here, and I don't know, maybe I can get one of these door sill plates on. Let's see here. See, I want to get the door sill plates on, but I don't know if I'm 100% done with my wiring yet. Maybe not on the driver's side. I bet you we could do the passenger side though. I guess you're normally supposed to glue the magnets down. I'm going to try without magnets, just to show you guys what we're working with here. And damn, look at how sleek and modern that looks. I'm going to say get a little Dutch logo right here, and that is going to be badass. So, Fiddle Fart door sills, Fiddle Fart door strikers. Got the antenna delete, wiper caps, hood safety latch. Got the bumper supports, L brackets. I gotta say, Tom, really nice stuff. And this black anodized look is just like, it goes perfect with the yellow and black on this car. So really happy with that. So if you guys want to check out Fiddle Fart's products, I will put a link to his website down in the description there. But really nice stuff to kind of finish off some of the just the little details. And now, to be honest with you, I know it was a little bit of a journey doing the hood hinges, but might need a set in black. All right, guys, I fired up the old Cricut machine, made myself a nice Dutch windshield banner, and I made some little stickers for the door sills. So I'm just going to make sure my transfer tape here is on nice. Ooh. Come on. All right. There we go. Let's go stick it on. This is 3 feet, so we need 1.5 feet, which is here is our halfway mark. There we go. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Windshield banner is on. Doesn't look too bad for being cut out of my Cricut. However, that is a pretty thin vinyl, and I was really just doing a test because I need a thicker vinyl that is UV resistant, because that isn't going to last very long. That's just some whatever cheap, I think it was like $6 for the whole roll. And it's fine, you know, to do testing and interior and stuff that's maybe not going to see sunlight and everything else, but definitely need something a little bit thicker and more industrial for the windshield. So that's looking great. My man Harris Lou is actually going to do one for me that has a warp in it, so that way it's more straight looking. That's the problem when you put a straight cut logo or graphic on something that's curved. It kind of gets that droopy look, right? Because it's following the curvature of the windshield. But proof of concept is there. I moved on to underneath the hood here because I do have a 3G alternator sitting right here. So I want to put that guy on. I took this off, and then once this was off, I was like, man, old school pollution pump. Yeah, that can leave. And the line going up to the intake manifold was here. You can see the fitting right here. So I got to get a rubber cap / nipple and cap that off. And the solenoid was actually still plugged in, so that is no longer. And clean things up down there. However, when, I don't know what I was doing. I was reaching down there and I was like, what the hell is this moving? And sure as shit, this bracket is loose on the head. So not the worst thing in the world. Number one, give me an opportunity to clean it up. Number two, I'm gonna have to clearance it for the 3G alternator anyways. But yeah, kind of glad I found this. So, you know, shit happens. Things don't get torqued down always. So it'll be an opportunity to get that right. I also want to get some yellow plug wires in here. I feel like that'll set things off in the bay and carry out the black and yellow theme. But yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this off and get it cleaned up, clearanced out, and ready for the 3G upgrade. Well, guys, we're doing some Seymour original cast iron gray finish. And this is darker than your aluminum cast glass, which I feel like the older Foxbody stuff, you know, if you go with the aluminum cast blast, sometimes it's a little too light. This one might be argued as a little too dark, but we are fighting cooler temps. The sun is going down, so here's a little trick. So as soon as you finish spraying your Seymour, maybe you're using your high heat VHT or Duplicolor or whatever it is, you know, you can kind of do your own little bit of powder coating, if you will. Just be careful. You know, I do have a straw bale here. Don't need to catch stuff on fire. This is where I clearanced the bracket for the new 3G alternator. So that should be good to go. Here's our pieces We'll let them dry up overnight, and then we'll get that installed, and things will look a lot better underneath the hood here, and we'll have way better charging. All right, so brackets dry, painted some heads of bolts over here, and there's the tensioner. It's ready to roll. So let's go ahead, get this stuff bolted in, get our 3G installed. I'll show you guys some of the wiring that I already got a head start on, I guess, while you guys weren't watching. So let's get this done. Whoa, Jesus. Always disconnect your batteries, folks. All right, guys, so let's talk about the wiring that I did here for a second. So this is actually the factory alternator harness that remains intact. And I cut, this is one of the factory connectors. It stays just the way that it is. And then this is the other long rectangular connector that I cut the wires right off at the connector. So you got the two black with orange trace wires that, you know, some would argue run, you know, a new 8 gauge or a new 4 gauge back to your starter solenoid or whatever it might be. But this harness is in such good condition. Being low mileage and everything else, I am retaining both the black with reds right here, and I put ring terminals on both wires, and together collectively, because that's good copper, factory copper wire in there, it'll be more than enough than what we need to charge our system. And then the white with the black trace, I put a little spade female style connector on there, and that's going to go on the single blade terminal. And that is the one, that's the important one, because that's the one that's going back and telling the system, hey, you know, we're charging, and all right, keeps your battery light off in your gauge cluster. All right, well, I tried to do a thing, right? I got an Optima battery off the shelf at O'Reilly's today because I had this one in stock, and this is a Group 35. And I thought, you know what, I don't need the side posts. Maybe this will work out. Didn't even realize the terminals are on the opposite sides. So if I flipped it around, but then the terminals are going to be too close to the back here, which I don't want. In fact, the yellow doesn't really match as good as I was hoping. Not that that's really a deterrent, you know what I mean? It's still yellow at the end of the day. So I got to get the right battery, but I tried. So that's probably going to end this video because, well, it's a good stopping point. It's the end of the weekend, and this is how far I got. So we did some pretty cool stuff in this video, right? Out with the old, and, well, not even going back in with new on the pollution pump, but we got our 3G alternator installed here. I do need to figure out what the belt length is that I'm going to need with that smaller diameter water pump pulley and that underdrive crank pulley. But that's going to do it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed tinkering with a few little things, the Fiddle Fart aspects of things. Got a windshield banner on to test that out, and got to get the deck lid and the wing off to Red Dog so we can get that finalized, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the Conies are going to be here next week down from Canada, which is going to allow us to finally do an altitude adjustment on this car. So that'll be some real fun stuff. We're going to fix the stance, get some coil springs swapped out, get some ditch grabbers installed, and pretty much get this car in a state where all I need to do is get my rear seat stitched up to match the front Recaros and get the car to K-Design to knock out the back stereo stuff so we can get all of our amp racks and everything done in the back there. And then it's just going to be fine little details here and there to wrap up the 92 yellow notch. So as always, thank you guys again so much for your support, and we'll catch you back here next time on the Infamous Project.